You don't have to look very far these days to find examples of prejudice. Sometimes it takes the form of discrimination against cultural or ethnic minorities. On other occasions, it manifests as intolerance of people whose religious beliefs or sexual identities are dissimilar to our own. And sometimes it's just about conflict between the rich and the poor, or between liberals and conservatives. There are so many examples of prejudice, in fact, that it can seem as though we're simply incapable of getting along with those who are different from ourselves. Many people, scholars and lay people alike, have voiced the opinion that prejudice, discrimination, intolerance, and hatred are social ills that get taught and reinforced through our cultural practices. According to this view, no one is born prejudiced. Rather, we're born with a predisposition to accept and cooperate with others. But we learn through various social practices to see certain other people as inferior or even threatening to us. As a result, we express prejudice and discrimination against those groups. As this line of thought goes, the answer to prejudice and intolerance is to teach people not to hate, because if we had to learn to hate in the first place, we can learn not to. There's certainly no question that many of our social and institutional practices reinforce messages of division between people and groups of people. But the field of evolutionary psychology offers a slightly different take on the nature of prejudice. According to scholars such as James Waller of Whitworth University, we are primed from birth to pay attention to how similar to and different from others we are, and to favor those we see as similar to ourselves. The reason is that if people look and sound and act similar to us, there's a greater chance that their interests and priorities are also aligned with ours, making them safer to interact with. Our tendency to be distrustful of dissimilar others, therefore, contributes to our safety and survival. According to this perspective, the way to battle prejudice and intolerance is not to try to teach people simply not to hate. It's to encourage them to focus on what they have in common with other groups, instead of the ways in which they're different. Therefore, when you feel feelings of prejudice or hatred for another person or group, give some thought as to what you have in common with them.